Hi, I'm Nick Elsmore, Chief Apiarist at SecurityColony.com, the world's largest and first bee-themed cybersecurity collaboration platform. If you don't have an account yet, you really should set one up. It's free. You can sign up at SecurityColony.com and get access to a whole heap of resources. If you like it, you can then take out a premium subscription and get access to a lot more. But it really is a great platform. Please do sign up. Today I'm going to talk to you about our vendor risk module. The vendor risk assessment module we released about 6 weeks ago, and it's been really, really well received. We've had a doubling in our sign-up rate over the last couple of months, and we've had great feedback from our customers. But we've also had quite a few questions, and the questions broadly are, how does it work? Does it work? And what does it mean? And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So firstly, how does it work? The vendor risk assessment module uses, at the moment, about 17 distinct checks to assess an organization's cybersecurity posture. It's what we call a no-touch assessment, in that we're not running any active vulnerability scans against a domain or against a system. What we're doing is looking at how an organization has set up their internet-facing environment, and we're inferring from that their security maturity. So what does that mean in practice? It means we look at things like their email configuration. Do they have SPF set up properly? Do they have DMARC set up properly? We look at the SSL and TLS certificates across all of their subdomains within the organization. We look at things like DNS configuration. We look at all the blacklists and various other lists that are out there of adware sites, badware sites, malware sites, and others that are all categorized by organizations like Google and others. And we take all of that information together along with insecure ports and other data, and we infer from that a level of security maturity about the organization that we're examining. So what does it mean, the data that we get from this? Well, our belief is that you can actually infer an organization's cybersecurity maturity from looking at these controls with a reasonably high degree of accuracy. And the reason for that is that some of those controls are actually pretty hard to implement. For example, things like DMARC actually has quite a high degree of difficulty to implement effectively. Also, some of the controls really require rigorous process effectiveness. So for example, something like SSL and TLS configuration, it's easy to get right on one certificate, but it's often hard to get right across dozens or hundreds across an entire organization, unless you have really, really efficient processes in place. And that's really what we're looking at and what we're inferring. We're inferring an organization's cybersecurity maturity, their process maturity, from looking at the way their external environment is configured. The vendor risk assessment module provides an intentionally lightweight assessment of an organization's cybersecurity maturity and process effectiveness. The other question that we have is whether we have any evidence of the system actually generating meaningful data. And of course, fortunately, we do. Prior to putting the system into production, we actually ran it against the 100 largest companies listed on the Australian Securities Exchange, or the ASX. So the ASX 100. And what we found when looking at that is, I guess, reasonably predictable, which is the organizations with the highest scores are those in the IT sector, the telecommunications sector, and financial services. And those with the lowest scores are in mining, energy, industrials, and also, perhaps surprisingly, healthcare. But what we've actually found is that largely correlates with our experience in the market and what you'd expect to see from those organizations based on how much investment they've put into cybersecurity and their focus on it over many years. So those results actually gave us quite a lot of confidence that the output that the vendor risk assessment tool is creating actually provides a genuinely accurate view of cybersecurity maturity for organizations. We've also had close to 1,000 organizations sign up so far. And from those 1,000 organizations, we've had really, really positive feedback. A lot of people identifying systems they didn't know existed, insecure ports they weren't aware were open, email addresses that had been breached that they hadn't previously heard about. So the system itself has been a really, really great result for the organizations who've used it so far. So what's coming next? Well, the next big release is in the next few weeks, we'll be releasing the ability for our premium subscribers to actually add in the vendors that they work with and see their vendors' scores. And ultimately, that's the intent of the system. It's for organizations to be able to monitor the security scores of their vendor base, their supplier base, and keep track of it over time. And of course, we're also constantly working on building additional tests and additional checks to get greater accuracy of the data in the vendor risk assessment tool. And over the next weeks and months, we'll be releasing a range of different checks that'll increase the fidelity of the data that goes into the system. Now, it's still free to sign up and see your own score. So set up an account at securitycolony.com, click on the vendor risk tab when you log in, and you'll be able to see the score for your domain. We recommend signing up with your corporate domain rather than a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, because as interesting as it is to see Gmail or Hotmail score, it's probably more meaningful to see your own. So please do sign up. And of course, thanks for watching these videos. We'll be continuing to release these over the next weeks and months. If there are any topics you think would be interesting to cover, please do send them through to us. If you log into the site, you can access the help widget, or you can just send them direct to us via email at help@securitycolony.com. Thanks again for joining.